The cybersecurity risk assessment presented on behalf of Group 3. My name is Eugene Quay. The Canadian Cybersecurity Task Force was assigned the security detail for the FVEY summit. At 0300 in the morning of the summit, the US alerted other nations that their intrusion detection system had flagged an attempted data exfiltration. As a result, all the other nations agreed to perform checks on their own systems and share their findings with the other nations. It was also determined that the attack originated from inside the summit, indicating an insider attack. Certain characteristics led to the suspicion of some specific types of attacks. For data exfiltration, data was caught flowing at an alarming rate, and that data contained sensitive security information. For DDoS attack, packets flowing from many geographical locations at once, indicating possible botnet SIM flood or the suspected attacks would have been facilitated by certain attack vectors, and we have them as follows. Under hardware, we have supply chain, firmware flaws and patches, CVEs, physical address, and row hammer. For software, we have CWEs, CVEs, COTS and GOTS 0-day, and OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. For our operating system, we have 0-day attacks, unpatched systems, exploitation of race conditions, and buffer overflows. Telecoms, we have rogue access points, stingrays, network sniffing, wiretapping, DDoS or DOS. Then for social, we have honeypot, blackmail, phishing, spear phishing, USB dead drops, and malicious website ads. Any one of the summit's nation states could be considered an insider threat, and these are the United States, Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. The known adversary nation states are China and Russia. Now, other major nation states to consider are Germany, Netherlands, and Venezuela. Then, for our hacker groups, they could be anonymous, independent, or nation-state funded groups. The intersection of an attack vector and a threat vector results in a value that represents the likelihood of an attack. In order for an attack to occur, there must be a weakness and an actor able to exploit that weakness, which constitutes a vulnerability. The overall risk is obtained by intersecting the likelihood with the consequence of compromise. In short, all consequences of compromise are listed as high value due to the assumption that attacks take place on criticality level number 1 components, which are those that would cause mission failures. The value in the cells, example HH and LH, represents the likelihood and COC in terms of high, medium, and low, and the overall risk is a subjective average of the two values. The matrix represents the level of risk posed by each country assumed to be performing an attack. The risks are indicated as high, medium, or low. So highest risk suspects include the United States, New Zealand, China, and Russia. The US and New Zealand IP addresses were present in some packet capture. Chinese and Russian IP addresses were present in network packet capture plus history of provocative cyber attacks. To mitigate the current threats, the following controls are available. Under authentication, we have two-factor authentication using smart card or one-time FAT fob and passwords, something you have and know. There is also visual inspection of smart card badges for appearance. Then for authorization, there is least privilege access and security clearances. We also have under authorization, vetted authorization approval processes. Then for access control, there is role-based access control or RBAC. Access control lists for sensitive documents or directories. In addressing a problem in technology or designing a solution, it is also always useful to look at it in the lenses of people, technology, and policy. Therefore, considering the current weaknesses, the same approach becomes useful. So for people, we want to look at how insider threats are facilitated by the people involved, and also how the lack of security training for non-cyber personnel contributes to the weaknesses identified. Under technology, we are looking at mobile device management because this is important to address any bring your own device policies that we have or any devices that people may be using on the network. The lack of distributed denial of service protections is also important in addressing the weaknesses from the perspective of technology. And then finally, under technology, the systems and network misconfigurations could be a factor contributing directly to the weaknesses. Under policy, lacking the substantial bring your own device policy is key in contributing to existing weaknesses. And then the immature supply chain risk management plan also is something that needs to be looked at in addressing weaknesses through policies. Technology-related problems or solutions can always be mapped to people, technology, and policy. And so in this case, the current weaknesses can be mapped out as follows. Under people, we have insider threats, and then the lack of security training for non-cyber personnel. Then for technology, we have mobile device management, the lack of DDoS protections, and systems or network misconfigurations. Under policy, there are lacking substantial BYOD policy and the immature supply chain risk management plan.
So considering all the threat actors and the vulnerabilities mentioned in the earlier slides, our recommendations are based on the previous slides method for identifying solutions or identifying problems for technology related issues. In this case, we are going to apply the approach of people, technology, and policy in making our recommendations. Therefore, under people, we recommend cyber training awareness and also merit or penalty based systems for reporting or causing security breaches. For technology, we want to take another look at VPNs, sessions timeout, updated access control lists, additions of HIDS to complement existing network intrusion detection systems, the distributed denial of service shunting and or load balancing. Under policy, we want to recommend the enforcement of the NIST 800-53A controls, which addresses network hardware and software vulnerabilities. A comprehensive BYOD policy would be desirable to help control devices which may turn out to be rogue devices in the long run on the network. And then also to build out industry leading SCRM plans. Thank you.
The recommendations to mitigate the weaknesses identified fall back on the same mapping. So for people, we have cyber awareness training, merit or penalty system for reporting or causing security breaches. Then for technology, we have VPN, session timeouts, updated ACLs, addition of HIDS to complement existing NIDS, DDoS shunting, and or load balancing. Then for policy, we have enforcement of NIST 800-53A controls, which are the network hardware and software scanning controls. Then a comprehensive BYOD policy is desirable. And finally, we have to build out industry-leading SCRM plan. Thank you.